Hey guys, good evening. Good evening to all of you. Am I audible and visible? Please do let me know. Okay, I am audible and visible. Thank you. So let's start the session in 2 minutes. Before that, we can have some discussion. If you have any problem, any questions, then please do write in the chat box. We will start in 2 minutes. Till then, we can have a discussion. If you have any special question, any query related to the course, related to the previous session, then you can write in the chat box. Yes, agent is the future of software engineering. We are going to see a lot of applications which will be based upon agent. So will there be any job cuts due to agents? This question is very like, this question is very specific to a specific person. This question should be asked to a very specific person who is actually very experienced in this field. I'm not able to answer these questions because I don't know how the market behaves uh, whenever the new technology comes and what is the volatility actually happens. I'm not able to answer these questions. This question is safe for the person who are at the highest positions in this field. Like this question can be answered by Sam Altman, Andrew Ng, can be the Langchain CEO, Harrison Chase, Llama Index CEO, Jerry Liu. These people are the best persons to answer this question. NVIDIA CEO, they actually analyze that whatever what the future is going to be like, whether there will be any cut in the job or not. Of course, the service-based company like TCS and Capgemini and these, they've only evaluate all those things. But they all depend upon the statement of the persons who are actually building these kind of applications like Cloudy, Anthropic, Mistral, OpenAI. Whenever some person of these organizations bring some statements, the markets actually gets affected. So I'm not able to answer this question whether the jobs is going to be cut or not. But I'm very much sure that lots of new job is going to be created. What are the cases of AI agents in companies and which agents are currently used most? So lots of startups are coming where AI agents are being implemented. I will show you one or two applications where how the AI agents is playing their crucial role. And accordingly, you can decide that how the future is going to be like how the platform like Flipkart, Amazon, Zomato, all these applications, how they are going to integrate these AI agents. I will show you one or two application today where you will see the AI agents in action, and accordingly you can think that how these platforms and these giants organizations are going to implement these AI agents. Today you will get to know about it. Okay, any more questions? I am ready to start the session. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. So what I will do today, first of all, I will show you the two application actually, which is using the AI agents, and it is very interesting and it's very new platform. In fact, it's one of the platform is very new. The other one is old one, but they have implemented the AI agent recently. So I will show you that how they have implemented the AI agents inside it, how you can use this thing, and how the future is going to be like. So the first application is DID. Let me show you. Yeah, this is the application. Is my screen is visible? Do let me know in the chat box. My screen is visible, guys. Okay, okay, fine. So you can see this is the platform DID. I don't know what is the full form of this, but this is a very interesting platform. I will show you that how they are using the AI agents and how the other organization is going to follow this. So first of all, there are start free trial. So you can go to there, just click on start free trial. Then you will land on this page. You can see here, there is a agents which is in the beta form, and there is also a developer hub. When you will go to the developer hub, then you can use their API. But we are not going to use their API and all. We are just playing with their user interface. So I will go to the agent section. Let me click on this. And it is telling me create your first agent. So I will click on create agent. And now you can see it is asking me to choose an image. You can choose any image here. Let me choose this one. Okay. You can choose any image. You can also choose your own image. Here you can see there is a upload section. You can click on it and you can upload your own image as well. Now, after this, what you have to do, you have to go to the next. And now you have to give the name of your agent. So I will write the name RAG agent. So this is the name of my agent. You can choose your language, any language. I am choosing the English United States, but you can choose. There are many Hindi as well. So we can also play with the Hindi language, but right now I'm going with the English one. You can also choose the agent voice here, whatever the voice you like. There are free voices present here, but there are also the pro version of that. But we are going to use the free voice. Let me select the ladies one, which is, I think Christopher is lady.
Hey, nice to meet you.
No, this is the,
What do you think of my voice?
let me, Eric.
Hey, nice to meet you. What do you think of my voice?
Guy, Jacob, Rosa, Ryan, Stephen. Okay, let me select anyone, Andrew. Okay. Now you can write here any instruction. And this is an optional. You can write any instruction or you can leave it as it is. So I will write that answer my question in the context. So I'm actually going to create the RAG application. So I will create next. Now here you can see there are three options: grounded, hybrid, and ungrounded. These are actually the types of RAG that you are going to play with. So in hybrid, you can see it is telling that it can use your resources and it also relies on the general knowledge. So it can also use their own knowledge base and it will also use your own resources, whatever the resources you are providing to your agent. Now in grounded, you can see it will only use your knowledge source. Whatever the source you will provide, it will only answer in the context. Ungrounded will not use any sources. That means it is just it will just depend upon the knowledge base, whatever the knowledge base it has. So I will provide some, okay. So here it is telling me to the sign up. Let me sign up first. I will go with Google. So these are some of the things that you have to do before using this. Let me check this one. Next. Now RAG agent, English, agent voice, Andrew, answer, next. Upload your file. So I will upload any of my file. Let me see if I have any file. Yeah, so this is the paper. Attention is all you need. So I will upload this one. This will be my resources. And according to these resources, my agent is going to answer. So you can see my PDF has been uploaded now. Now I will click on next. And this is the welcome message. Hi, I am RAG agent. How can I help you? You can also put your startup question. Like what is transformer? You can put another question. What is positional encoding? This all belongs to the PDF that I have given as a resource. So I will just put two questions as a started question. And now I will click on create agent. So you can see here it is pop-up coming. We have successfully generated your agent. Now when I will click on here, you can see it is telling to start chat. I will click on it. And yeah, it is ready. Now you can see the picture is moving. So this is the agent person who is able to answer my question according to the resources that I have provided. Now you can see the two startup question is also coming. So what I will do, I will just click on the first startup question. Let me click on the second one. What is positional encoding? Okay. It's thinking.
In the context, positional encoding is the method used to inject
Now you can see it is
relative
speaking.
or absolute position of tokens in a sequence, allowing the model to make use of the order of the sequence. This is achieved using sine and cosine functions of different frequencies, which are added to the input embeddings at each position.
You can see the agent is speaking and you are able to interact with this person. Beautiful. You can also upload your own image here. Now I can also use this speech, the voice assistant here. I can click on it. Allow. What is transformer?
In the context, the transformer is the first transduction model that relies entirely on self-attention to compute representations of its input and output. It eschews recurrence and instead relies entirely on an attention mechanism to draw global dependencies between input and output, allowing for significantly more parallelization and faster training for translation tasks.
Guys, can you hear the sound? Please write me in the chat box. Yeah. Now let me ask a general question which is not related to the context or the resources that I have provided. What can I ask a question? Please give me some question in the chat box. It should be a general question, not related to the attention all your need paper. Write in the chat box if you want any questions to be asked to this agent. What is RAG?
RAG agent.
Yeah, it can say it is just telling RAG agent. So you can see it's beautifully. So the future is like this. You in many platform you will see this kind of agent to interact or to query your any kind of answer. It can be like whenever you visit any website, there will be this kind of agentic person who will be answering your question face to face, and it is very interactive. And it is very interesting as well to interact with this kind of agent. Okay, now let me show you another application where you can build your application. The next one is tasking.ai. Yeah, this is also a very interesting one. Let me go to the get started section. And you can sign up with the Google. Okay, now you can see here it is telling to create your new project. Now, when I will click on new project, so it will tell me to give the name. So I will write the RAG agent. Now a brief description of the purpose of your present. Let me answer in the context. Now click on confirm. So your project is completed. Now when you will click on this project, you will land on a page where you will see a lot of kinds of things that is appearing in the left corner. You can see the model, retrieval, tool, and assistant. So what I will do, I will go to the model section and you can see there is a lot of model you can select upon. See, here you can select a lot of model, OpenAI, Mistral, Azure, Grok, Hugging Face, Custom, AWS, Bedrock. So I will go with the OpenAI. How you will go? So you will click on the next section. When you will click on the next section, then you will have the OpenAI models here. So I will click on the first model, that is OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo. You can see it has been selected and I will click on the confirm. So my model is selected. Now what you have to do, you have to put your name here. So I will put the name as it is. And now you have to put the OpenAI API key. So I will put my API key here. Let me take my API key. Okay. So this is my Open API key. Now I will click on confirm. Okay, so you have selected your model, you have created your project. Now you can actually use the retrieval tool or assistant. Assistant means agent. So what I will do, I will go to the tool section first. And then it tells to select the new plugin. So when I will click on new plugin, you can see there are different kinds of tools that you can give to your agent. Accordingly, it will answer. Like you can give the news API, you can give the tool as a QR code generator, you can give tool as a point, DALL-E 3 image generator, archive search. So what I will do, I will give the tool archive search. So I will click because it is a free. We do not have to give the API of archive. So that's why I'm using the archive search. Let me click on next. And now let me click on confirm. So I've given the tool to my project. So the tool is added, the plugin is added. Now I will go to the assistant section. And now it is telling me to create new assistant. I will click on it. I will write the name. So the name is RAG agent. Sorry, archive agent. And description. Get me paper list according to user question. This is the description. You can write any kind of description you want. And now you can copy this and you can also put the prompt template similar to the description. You can write any kind of prompt, whatever you want, but it should be relevant. Now here you see it is telling you to select the language model. So when I will click on this, it will automatically suggest me that you have selected the OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo model. So what I will do, I will select this one and I will click on confirm. So this model has been selected. You can also use the memory. So in memory, I will select the nav. You can read here. what does this memory does actually? So it actually allows assistants to remember past conversation. Okay. Now here you can see in the retrieval, you can select any retrieval, but I am just leaving this as an empty. But in the plugin, I will select the plugin because in plugin, I have used, let me add plug. Okay, here I will select, and you can see this plugin has already been selected. So I will select this one, archive research, select this, click on confirm. So this plugin has been added. Now I will click on confirm. So my assistant is ready now. Okay, now it is ready. So I have used the model, I have used the tool, I have used the assistant. Now this project is ready. Now what you can do, you can go there. This you can see here, it is a playground. Click on playground. And it is taking time. Okay, now it is created. So you can chat here. You can write, give me rag paper in 2024. So what it will do, it will use the tool which we have provided, archive, and using this tool, it will fetch all the rag paper which has been published in 2024. You have to click send and generate. You can see how beautifully it is extracting all the paper which is related to the RAG applications and which has been published in 2024. And it is also giving us the PDF link, author, published, and the link, paper link. You can click on it. You can land on this page. You can see here. This was the one of the paper, multi-hope RAG. This is the retrieval augmentation for AI generated content. So all the paper has been listed. You can ask any question related to the archive agent. So what I want to say that you can give the tool to your agent. The tool, you can also add a new tool here. Any tool you can use the DuckDuckGo search. It will actually go to the wave search and it will extract the result according to the wave search, or any other tool you can provide. Many of the tools require the API. So you have to provide the API key as well. But this was the agent thing that I wanted to show you that the how future is going to be. In the previous DID agent, you can also share your project. Here you can click on share. You can share on WhatsApp, email, or you can copy the link. And before you share, when user converse with AI, I have a question. Back, copy the link. Link has been copied. Let me share with you guys in the chat box. So you can access this Agentic RAG. I have provided the link. Please click on that and let me know if you are able to access it or not. Do let me know in the chat box if you are able to access it.
I'm here to provide information about certain context. If you have any questions related to that, feel free to ask.
So it is not able to answer what is capital of India. You can see it is telling I am here to provide the information about the certain context. That means it is an agentic RAG. It can only answer the context you have provided. Okay, guys. Now, in the tasking here, you have seen that I have built an agent, providing the tool and creating the assistant. So you must be thinking that, can we create this kind of agent through the code? Yes, of course. Tasking AI also provides the software development toolkit in Python. I will show you how you can do that. Let me open the Google Colab notebook. So here you can see there are just 4 or 5 lines of code, and you can use any kind of tool in tasking.ai, and then you can create any kind of assistance, giving that a special kind of tools to your assistant. What you have to do, you have to install the tasking AI library. So I have already installed it. Let me run this once again. Okay. Now you have to import the tasking.ai. You have to import ppprint.sp, and you have to give the API key of tasking.ai. How you will get the API key of tasking.ai? So you go to the tasking.ai. Whenever you create your project, then you will get an option of API keys. Without creating project, you will not be able to access the API key. Once you create your project, then and then only you will be able to access the API key. If you are here, and if you go to the Get Started section, and you can see I have not created any project, so there is no option of API key. But once you will create your project, I have created the RAG agent. When I will go to my project, then you can see the API key is visible now. So you can click on it, you can create your API key, and you can use in your Python development toolkit. Okay. So let me go to that. So I have used this API key. I will delete the API key after this class. Now you have to initiate it, tasking ai.init. And now you have to create the assistant. How you will create the assistant? Tasking AI. In tasking AI, there is a module called as assistant. And in assistant, there is a method called as a list assistant. So what it will do, it will actually list all the kind of assistant that you have. So when I will click on this, you can see there will be a list of assistant. This is the assistant that is called as an archive agent. Now, this is the description, what this agent can do. Okay, so according to the assistant that you have created in your project, those assistants will be shown here. I have already created the archive agent, so that is the only assistant that I am able to see here. According to your project, because the API key that you are providing, that is based on your project. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually accessing this archive agent as an assistant, and I am putting that agent inside a variable called as a archive QA assistant. Now I am initiating the new chat, and that is tasking AI dot assistant dot create chat. Now you have to put the assistant ID. Assistant ID is archive QA assistant. This is the archive QA assistant that I have created, this one. And you have to provide the assistant ID. This is the assistant ID. And this is the user message that you have to provide. Tasking AI dot assistant dot create message. There will be assistant ID. Now you have to provide the chat ID, and now you have to provide the question. ठीक है? अब मैं इसको रन कर रहा हूं, तो ये मेरा इनिशिएट हो गया, ठीक है ना? अब उसके बाद आपको करना क्या है? टास्किंग AI डॉट असिस्टेंट डॉट जनरेट मैसेज. इसमें आपको असिस्टेंट आईडी डालना है और चैट का आईडी डालना है, और उसके बाद आप अपना असिस्टेंट मैसेज प्रिंट कर सकते हो. So let me run this. You can see I have asked the question, please help me find papers about RAG in 2024. So according to my question, the chat ID text, it will fetch all the paper related to the RAG in 2024. Whatever the things we have done through the user interface, that particular thing I am doing through the code. And you can see it has fetched this paper. This is the paper January 27. And this is the paper benchmarking retrieval augmentation generation. This is the first paper. This is the second paper. And now we have a lot of paper which was published on 2024. So through the code as well, you can use the tasking AI assistant. Any problem, guys? If you have any problem, we can have 1 or 2 minutes of discussion right now before moving further. Yeah, same thing, whatever things we were able to do in this user interface. You can see we built an agent here. Where was my agent? Yeah, this was my agent, RAG agent. We build a RAG agent here. So the same thing what we did through the user interface, we are doing through the code. Will we build a complete project in VS Code? So इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? कोलैब का सारा कोड उठा के VS Code में डाल दो. जो भी आपने इंस्टॉल किया है उसको requirements.txt में डाल दो. आप एक स्ट्रीमलेट एप्लीकेशन बना सकते हो, चेनलेट एप्लीकेशन बना सकते हो. ये तो बहुत इजी है. कोलैब में मैंने इसलिए किया ताकि मैं पीस वाइज में कोड को समझा सकूं. VS Code में भी करना बहुत आसान है, कुछ भी नहीं है. Am I able to answer your question, Sijal? If you have custom data sets, can we use them from tool section? So for custom data sets, you can use the retrieval section here. You can use this retrieval section for custom data set. I have not used the retrieval. I have just used the tool. In the very first class, I've told you guys, while building the agent, 2 or 3 things comes into picture. The first one is the tool that you provide to the agent to perform the task. The second thing, the task, what kind of task you are providing to your agent to perform. If you are talking about the custom data sets, then we are not going into the agent, we are going into the RAG application. So in the RAG application, we can talk about the custom data sets. If you are building an agentic RAG, then we can talk about the custom data sets. But if you are building an agent, then we are not, we cannot talk about the custom data set and all. We will only talk about the tools and the task, while building the agent. But if we are building an agentic RAG, then we will talk about the custom data set, and whether we can provide our own data sets for RAG or not. If that answer your question, Soumya. Okay, so I hope this was an interesting thing to know about, that how the future is going to be like, why we are studying these agentic things, because lots of application is going to come which are going to implement this kind of thing in their interface. Soon and sooner, we will be seeing these kind of agentic things in Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon, all those kind of application is going to implement these things. Okay. Should we move further? Okay, now let me take you to the previous class. In previous class, if somebody has attended the previous class, then you must have seen that we were talking about the assistant of Phi data, how to build the agent using the Phi data platform. So in the previous class, we used the data analyst agent, we used the finance agent using GPT-4o. But when we were using like RAG assistant, then it throwed an error because my database, the Docker database was not running, and that's why it was throwing an error. So I thought to skip at that time. But now I want to show you that how this RAG application can be done through the Phi data application. Okay, so what you have to do from Phi assistant, you have to import the assistant. First of all, you have to install some of the requirements like OpenAI, Phi data, DuckDB. These are all the requirements you have to install. Now for building the RAG assistant through the Phi data, you have to bring the assistant. Assistant is nothing but an agent. It is a class inside the Phi, which is used to build the agent. Now you have to use the class called as a PDF URL knowledge base. That means once you provide any URL which contains the PDF, that will be read by this class only, PDF URL knowledge base, and it will be used as a knowledge base for our RAG application. We are also using the PZ vector 2. This is also a built-in class inside the Phi data, in which when we use this PZ vector, then automatically what it does, it will actually convert all those PDF text into the vectors, and those vectors will be stored inside the vector database that is called as a PG vector. So by default, they have built a PG vector class inside the Phi platform, where you can actually use the PG vector database for storing your vectors of any text or PDF. Am I clear till now? PG vector 2 is not a vector database here, but PG vector 2 is a class inside the Phi, where you can use this class to actually store your vectors inside the PG vector database. And that PG vector database, you have to use your PG vector database either by using the Postgres database or either by using the Docker image of it. But this class will only assist you to store the vectors created while reading this PDF or any text. So the Phi has already created this separate PG vector class to actually simplify the things. Now we have to initiate the API key. And what we are doing, we are creating the knowledge base. Inside the knowledge base, you have to put a PDF URL, which will be inside the list, and it will be in the string. This is the format that you have to follow. You can put more than one string of PDF inside the list, or you can put only single PDF. And now you are creating your vector database. This vector database is actually, you can see this is the credential of my vector database. And this vector database is actually a Postgres vector database in which it has a PG vector extension. So what Postgres has done, Postgres has actually integrated a vector database inside it that is called as a PG vector. This PG vector is used to store the vector embeddings of your textual data. So I am not using the local Postgres database, but I am using the Docker. I am using the Docker image of the Postgres database. How to get that? To get this running, you have to install the Docker desktop first and make sure that your Docker is running here. And then you can run this command only. I'll show you. This command you have to run. This is the command. Docker run -e Postgres DB. So this is the container. I'm actually running a container. And then this is the user ID AI. This is the password. And this is the storage where my data will get storage. And this is the port on which my Docker container will run. And this is the name of the image, Phi data PG vector 16. What you have to do, you have to just copy this command, go to the command prompt, open the command prompt with administrative access and run this command. Automatically, that image will be pulled in your system. So I'm providing this because we have to store the vector inside some vector database. And now what I'm doing, I'm loading that file, knowledge base. This is my knowledge base. According to this knowledge base, we will get the answer. And now I'm creating the agent. In the agent, I'm putting the knowledge base. This is my knowledge base where all the embeddings are created of this PDF. And then I'm also initiating add references to prompt is equal to true. And now you have to just run assistant.print response. What are the ingredients to make masaman gai? So let me check if that file has that question's answer or not. So what I will do, I will just copy this PDF URL. I will go to okay, this is the URL. So this is the masaman gai. And I'm asking the question about this masaman gai, how it can be created. You can see this is the ingredients. And I hope my assistant will fetch this answer. Let me run that file. So what I will do, I will go to the terminal. And I will just write Python rag assistant.py. Now you can see it is loading the knowledge base inside my vector database, and it is reading this URL. And now you can see it is answering the question, what are the ingredients to make masaman gai? And you can see the answer is very specific. To make masaman gai, 300 grams chicken rump, 80 grams masaman krai, 100 grams coconut cream. Let me see if that is correct or not. 300 grams chicken rump, 80 grams masaman krai, 100 grams coconut cream. Very specific. Let me ask another question. Tom Yum Gung. What is the ingredients to make Tom Yum Gung? So I'll ask, what is the ingredients to make Tom Yum Gung? Okay, now let me run the cell. Loading knowledge base, reading the PDF, working on it. And you can see it is giving me the answer. Wow. Very specific to my question. Okay. So this was the one of the application that is called as a RAG assistant through the Pi platform. Just 3 or 4 lines of code. You can add your knowledge base and you can ask whatever the questions you can ask. You can build your application. You can build a Streamlit application, Chainlit application, any kind of application through it. Okay, now what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you another application that is called as a auto rag. Auto rag is very, very interesting. What it does actually, auto rag, it actually uses 3 kinds of tool. The first tool, it uses the history. Whatever the history that it has, it will go to the history and it will search the answer from the history. History can be stored in any database. It can be like Postgres or SQL database. Then it will go to the vector database to find the answer. And if it does not find the answer in the history or inside the vector database, then it will go to the DuckDuckGo search. And that means it will go to the website and it will find the answer from there. So what we are going to do, we are actually building an auto rag assistant. Auto rag assistant means it will use the 3 kind of tools. It will use my history for fetching the answer. If the answer is not present inside the history database, then it will go to the vector database. And if it will not be able to find the answer there, then it will use the DuckDuckGo search to find the answer through the web application. So what we have to do, we are importing, first of all, you have to install some of the libraries. These are some of the libraries that you have to install. Then what you have to do, you have to import the list, then nest asyncio, then logging, then OS. Then you have to import the assistants. I have actually given some descriptions about these kinds of library, what this library does, but it is very easy to understand. Then we are using the document. The document is actually used to create, read, or multiple documents that the assistant can reference to. Then we are also using the PDF reader from the Pi assistant to read the PDF. We are also using the website reader to read the website URL. And from phi.llm.openai, we are using OpenAI chat. Then we are using the assistant knowledge from Phi. What it does, it actually manages the knowledge base or repository of information that the assistant can use to answer questions or provide. So we will build a knowledge base for our assistant. Knowledge base means we will provide our own knowledge data to our assistants to fetch the answer. Now from Phi.tools, we are importing the DuckDuckGo search. We are using OpenAI embedder to create the embeddings. We are using PG Vector to store our embeddings. And we are also using PG Assistant Storage to store our embeddings from Phi. Now you have to initiate the OpenAI API key. Then you have to provide the database URL, the same database I am using. The Docker image, Phi data PG Vector 2. The same database I am using here, just you have to run this command. I have provided there, thus you will run this command. When your Docker is running, you will run this command automatically. That will be uploaded in your system. The username is AI, password is AI, and the database name is AI. It is running on 5532 port. Okay. Now I am using logging.getLogger so that I can actually debug whatever the things are happening into my application. And now this is the important function. In this function, what we are doing actually, we are creating an assistant. So the name of the function is assistant. The assistant is actually created through an LLM. So we are using an LLM to create the assistant. And what it will return an agent. And inside the agent, I am giving the name of my agent. The name of my agent is AutoRag Assistant. It will use the LLM that we will define. For storage, storage means PG Assistant Storage. This storage is the history storage. Whatever the history you are going to store, that will be stored inside the PG Assistant Storage. It is the already self-defined class inside the Phi module. You can see I have imported the PG Assistant Storage to store the history. So I am creating a storage to store the history. I am giving the table name. And the URL is the this URL. I'm using the same database. I'm not using my own Postgres database, but I am using the Docker image. Now I am creating a knowledge base where my vectors will be stored. So you can see here, I am creating the assistant knowledge. Assistant knowledge means I am creating a knowledge base where whenever I will upload my own data, that data will be converted into the vector. And that vector will be stored into the database called as a PG vector database. I'm providing the URL of my vector database, and the name of the data table is AutoRag Document OpenAI. And for creating the embeddings, I'm using OpenAI embedder. You have to provide the API key here. Any problem till now? Write me in the chat box. Let me share the Docker command, okay. Let me share the Docker. Although you will get this file on the website, but I'm sharing this Docker command. You can copy this. I've shared the Docker command. Salesh Tripathi is there in documentation. What does it mean? It's there in documentation. Is there any question till now? No. Docker command is not there in the documentation that I have created. What is the difference between the RAG and this? See, this is not a simple RAG. This is the very advanced RAG. What I'm actually creating, this is the very, very advanced RAG. Advanced RAG means it will not only depend upon your sources. It will not depend only upon your documents. It is actually going to your history as well. Whatever the things you have stored inside your database, maybe you will be having a lot of things inside your database. It will go there as well. It will search the answer. If the answer is not there, then it will go to the vector database. That means it will go to your data that you have uploaded as a knowledge base. And if it does not find the answer there, then it will use the DuckDuckGo search. It will go to the website and it will find the answer. So that means in any case, you are going to get the answer of any question. In the simple RAG, what you do, you only get your answer according to the context or whatever the context you have inside your documents. If the answer is not in the context or not inside your documents, then your application or your LLM is not going to get you any kind of answer. In that case, you will get the null. In the same thing that I showed you in DID. I uploaded my document. That was a simple RAG application, although it was an agentic RAG, but it was not an advanced RAG. It was a simple RAG. We were not giving any kind of tools to my RAG. It was just a simple RAG. So if my RAG does not find any answer in the context or the documents that I have provided, then it will just tell that, sorry, I am not able to answer your question. Hope I am able to answer your question, Sane Monk. This is very advanced RAG. अभी तक कोड में कोई प्रॉब्लम है जो मैंने अभी यहाँ समझाया? यहाँ इंपोर्ट वगैरह में तो आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगा. Do you have workflow means, Sane Monk? Sane Monk, can you please specify what do you mean by do you have workflow? Yes, Yogesh, it can handle any question because it will try to fetch the answer from website as well. Do you have workflow means, Sane Monk? Like a architecture, yeah, I actually have an architecture of this. Yeah, I have a documents of this, but I have not seen the, I have not shown those because see, I was having the PNG file in which the architecture of this model was defined. But let me check whether I can show you. Yeah, this is the image you can see here. Yeah, you can see here, this is the image. Can you see it? This is the autonomous RAG. This is your LLM. This is your agent. It will go to the memory first. If it does not find answer, then it will go to your knowledge base. And then it will go to the tools. This is the user which is going to ask the question. It will go to your LLM. Then it will, accordingly, it will think which kind of tool it has to use. It is fine, Sen? No, it is not like a multiple data source question answer chatbot. It is actually a RAG application which uses different kinds of resources to answer your query. Data sources, we have only two data sources, memory and knowledge base. Tools is not a data source. ओके, कोड में कोई प्रॉब्लम? अभी तक कोड में जो मैंने अभी असिस्टेंट बनाया, उस असिस्टेंट, ये जो फंक्शन बनाया सेटअप असिस्टेंट, उसमें मैं एक एजेंट को रिटर्न कर रहा हूँ. इस एजेंट का नाम जो है वो मैंने रखा है ऑटो रैग असिस्टेंट. इसमें मैं एक LLM दे रहा हूँ. इस फंक्शन को मैं बाद में यूज करूंगा. अभी मैं सिर्फ डिफाइन कर रहा हूँ. आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि LLM तो डिफाइन किया ही नहीं. ठीक है, अभी नहीं डिफाइन किया, बाद में डिफाइन कर देंगे. उसके बाद हम एक जो है ना हिस्ट्री के लिए एक असिस्टेंट बना रहे हैं जो ऑलरेडी फाई ने हमें दे रखा है, पीजी असिस्टेंट स्टोरेज. इसका टेबल नेम डिफाइन कर रहे हैं और ये हमारा वहीं पे बनेगा जो हम डेटाबेस डॉकर से यूज कर रहे हैं. Yeah, Yogesh, it's very good to add this kind of like application in your resume. The market is actually searching for this kind of application. If somebody asks you that, have you ever built an RAG application, and if you answer this architecture or this code to that interviewer, he will be very impressed, because you are not answering, you are not explaining the simple RAG to the interviewer, but you are actually explaining an advanced RAG. And that can be used in their organization, because every organization wants that their RAG should not only use the PDF, but it should also use their database or history. And if the RAG application does not find the answer there, then it can also use the web search. So of course you can use this kind of application in your resume that will boost your resume. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, Caesar, this is because you are not, Sirizu, this is because you are not compatible with Docker, I guess. Am I correct? Sirizu, am I correct? You are not compatible with Docker. Yes, that is the problem. So go and see some lecture, 1 and 2 hour of Docker, and then you will get to know. It's, if you do not know Docker, it's okay. Run the code that I have provided, run the command, Docker command, and you will not get into any problem. Yeah, regular RAG does not have any agent. Regular RAG only fetches the chunks, and that chunks goes inside the LLM as a knowledge base, and then LLM answer that question according to that chunk. It is not an agent. It is not going to query again and again to find the right answer. Whatever the chunk it will get, it will answer according to that chunk. Whether it is correct or wrong, it doesn't matter. Yeah, LLM itself acts like an agent. LLM is not an agent, guys. LLM is just a next word predictor, fine-tuned on different kinds of tasks. So LLM has a huge kind of knowledge base. It is not an agent. We can say that it is an agent, but it is a very simple agent. Any more question, guys? Because I get a lot of complaint that I do not query the questions of the students. I read the comments, I read the feedback, and accordingly, I'm actually waiting for your questions, because I got a lot of response that I do not interact or I do not answer students' query. So if you have any question, right, we can interact and we can go further. If you have any problem in this code, like I have made a function setup assistant, then you can write. And if you do not have any problem, then please write no. Then we can move further. Which is better, sir, Phi data or Crew AI for building agents? Crew AI. Crew AI is very advanced RAG framework. Phi data is also very good, but Crew AI is far better than Phi data. Because tomorrow or maybe in another class, we will see the Crew AI. Okay, let's move further. So we have created a setup assistant. In that we have used our history assistant storage, and we are also adding the knowledge base where we can actually put our documents. And we are using OpenAI embedder to create the embeddings. Now you can see I am actually describing that you are a helpful assistant called Autoroy, and your goal is to assist the user in the best way possible. And this is the instruction. Given a user query, first always search your knowledge base using the search knowledge base tool. So I'm providing the search knowledge base tool to see if you have relevant information. You do not find relevant information in your knowledge base, use the DuckDuckGo search. If you need reference the chat history, use the get chat history tool. If the user question is unclear, ask clarifying question to get more information. Carefully read the information you have gathered. Do not use phrases like based on my knowledge or depending on the information. So these are the instructions that I'm providing to my agent. And these are some of the things that we have to define. So tool calls is equal to true. That means all the tools that we are using, there are 3 tools, the history one, and then we are using the base knowledge. We have not used the DuckDuckGo search till now, but I will show you. Here you can see I'm adding the tools DuckDuckGo as well. Okay, add chat history to message, true. Debug mode, true. These are the things that you have to create. So we have created our assistant function. This is the setup assistant function we have created. Just a second, guys. Okay. Now I am adding document to my knowledge base. You can see I have used the knowledge base here. This is my knowledge base. Okay. Now we have to add some document to my knowledge base. Then that will be converted into the vector and it will get stored into the vector database. So I am adding my document to the knowledge base. For that, I am creating a function called as a add document to knowledge base. It will take a variable called as assistant. Assistant means agent. It will take the file path. So this is the file path. You can see this file path you have to provide. And then you have to also provide the type of the file. It can be like PDF, text, or any. I'm using the PDF. Now, what I'm doing, if file type is PDF, then you have to use the PDF reader. So the PDF reader is the class of the file. You can see here, I'm using this class to read my PDF. So all the the content of the PDF will get stored in this object reader. Now I am using the documents. Documents is actually nothing but reader.read file path. So whatever the file path we will provide, this reader will actually going to read that file path and it is actually creating my documents. This is the documents, the PDF file path, which will be read by the PDF reader, and whatever the contents it has, by using the method called as a read, we can actually extract those contents and we can store those contents inside the documents. And now once we have stored those contents inside the documents, then we can use the assistant.knowledge base. You can see this knowledge base is nothing, but this is the variable and object that we have created for our storing the vector database. This is the knowledge base. So I'm using this knowledge base, assistant.knowledgebase.load documents, and this is the documents, and upsert is equal to true. So automatically, whatever the contents are present inside the documents, those will be converted into the vector and will get uploaded into the vector database. Because inside the knowledge base, we have already defined everything. You can see here. Inside the knowledge database, we have already provided the PZ vector database, the URL of the vector database, the name of the table, and the embedding models which are going to create the vector. So automatically everything will be done by this method. Any problem, guys? Here I am adding my documents to my knowledge base. Do let me know in the chat box. And now I am creating another function, that is the query assistant. In this one, it will take the agent as a variable and the question in the form of a string. And for delta in assistant.run question. So assistant.run question will fetch the answer and the answer will get stored in the delta. And now we are storing that response inside the variable called as a response. We are actually concatenating all the responses which has been fetched from assistant.run question. And we are storing all those information inside a variable called as a response. And finally, we are returning response. So what we have done, we have actually created a setup assistant. In this setup assistant, we are actually creating our history database, our knowledge database, our LLM, our DuckDuckGo search, and then we are creating another functions to upload our documents, to upload our knowledge base inside the PZ vector database, and then we are creating another function to query the assistant. And now if name is equal to main, this thing is going to run. So once you will run the Python app.py, so what it will do, it will actually create the model you see here. And now I am initiating my LLM. And now I am calling that function setup assistant. You can see here, this function I am calling from here. This is the function setup assistant. I'm calling this function. I'm creating an object of this function as an assistant. I'm defining the path of the PDF. This is the sample.pdf file. Now I am adding the knowledge database to this PDF. This PDF is added to my knowledge database through this function, And now I am creating my question, and now I am creating the answer through this function. I am using this function to create the response. And finally, I am printing the response. So what is the question? The question is, what is the main topic of the document? And you can see this sample PDF is nothing, but it is actually the machine learning PDF. Let me open that file, sample.pdf. Okay, it is not readable. Let me show you what is the PDF. So you can see this is the PDF. This PDF is contents of machine learning courses, generative models. Okay, very simple. You can add machine learning, statics, probability, unsupervised learning, machine learning. These very low content. Okay, no, not an issue. You can add any kind of PDF. Okay, let me run this cell. So I want you to, what is the main topic of the document? This is the question. And let me see whether I am able to get the answer or not. Python app.py. You can see here, this is the final answer. The final answer is the main topic of the document appears to be an extensive course outline on machine learning. The contents include various subtopics within the field, such as introduction to machine learning, statistics and probability, categories of machine learning, supervised. Additionally, it covers practical activities using Python, TensorFlow, and Keras. This is the hallucination. This thing I don't know it is present inside my PDF or not. Let's see what kind of things it actually did before creating the final answer. Okay, so you can see it is actually debug load, reading the sample, loading knowledge base, creating the collection, that means the table, checking if table exists. Now it is creating the chunk size, everything. Whatever we were doing the manually, creating the chunk and the chunk size, all those things has been already defined inside that PZ vector database. The tool that we have created, this one, assistant knowledge database. Everything is defined automatically inside that. We have not to define the chunk and all those things. Yeah. Now committed two documents. So two documents has been uploaded, loaded two documents to knowledge base. This is the assistant run start. Loaded memory as well. Function to get chat history. Get chat history added to LLM. So this was the function that I instructed my LLM to get chat history. Search knowledge base to added to LLM. DuckDuckGo search. This has been added to LLM. Now OpenAI response start. So this is you are a helpful assistant auto and your goal is to assistant. And these are the instruction. Okay. Now this is the user question. What is the main topic of the document? And you can see the time generated response. This is the tool calls. So you can see the tool call is the search knowledge base. So it went into the knowledge base and then it is going to find the answer. And getting function search knowledge base, running search knowledge base. You can see it is running this function and getting 3 relevant documents for query. And it is actually creating select AI.auto. I don't know, this is their internal query that actually they run to create the response. And now here, again, it is going to the search knowledge base. It is going to the sample. It is creating the content. These are the content. These are the things. Very descriptive RAG application you can see. Oh my God. You will lose your token. Let me ask one more question if it can go and find the answer from DuckDuckGo search. What can I ask? Who won IPL 2024? Which team? Okay. The IPL 22 were won by Kolkata Knight Riders. They secured their third IPL title by defeating Sunriser Hyderabad by 8 wickets in the final. This victory marked their third IPL trophy, having previously owning 12-20. Very nice. I think it's very smart rag. Smart agentic rag. Do you have any question, guys? Do let me know in the chat box. Any question? Besides chatbot, text summarization, QA system, and agents working with LLMs, what other things falls under LLM-based GenAI developer role? Creating images, playing with the audio, video. You- Many things you can do. See, this LLM has a huge capability. You can create, go to Hugging Face, go to Spaces, and see what kind of application have people have built using LLM. You will find a different fields in which the LLM has been used. Seems like all LLM-based Gen projects are short-term and GenAI developers have to keep switching once these projects are done. So what do you think? You have to stick to only one project? Everybody does. Any developer complete their projects and then they go switch to the another project. What is new thing inside it? Sane monk? I don't think this is the are there any long-term GenAI development projects last longer for more than which projects you are going to build, which will be lasting 3-5 years? So these projects are going to last 3-4 years or 10 years or 25 years. Once you build these projects, then the user is going to use these kind of applications for like 10 to 25 years. It is not going to remain only for 3 to 5 years. It's going to remain for like 25-30 years. The coming decades are the decades of only GenAI. So do not get confused that these are only short-term projects. Any more question, guys? I hope I answered your question, Sen Mong. Write in the chat box. Yes, GenAI developer only. GenAI developer is nothing but they are the person who knows machine learning and deep learning. If the person who does not know machine learning and deep learning, they cannot be a GenAI developer. Any more question, guys? Sir, what is the duration of this type of projects start to end in the history? What is the duration of the depends. You see, you can build this kind of application only in like 1 hour or 2 hours. But when you will build this kind of application for your organization, it will take almost 2 to 3 months. Because this is a simple application, but organization will actually add a lot of things inside it. Should I move to another application? Building agentic RAG with using Llama index. If you do not have any question, I will move further. Write in the chat box. Should I move? Okay. Let's build an application using Llama index, and that is also a RAG application. And this time we are going to use the local LLM. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are actually using the Llama index. Llama index is a great framework to play with the LLMs. You can build different kinds of applications using Llama index, using LLMs. You can use OpenAI, you can use different kinds of LLMs. So from Llama index, I am using query engine tool metadata. Then I'm using an React agent. React agent means reason and action. This is a very special kind of agent which can reason your question and then it will act. I am using Llama. You must heard about the Llama. Then I'm using vector store index to store my vector. Then I'm using simple directory reader. I'm using Hugging Face embedding to create my embeddings. And then I'm using Grok. Grok is actually used to run the local LLM on your system very fast. So what you have to do, you have to actually load your data. You can see I have created my directory called as a data. This is a folder in which my text is there. This is the text, graham.txt. This is the text that I have uploaded inside my folder called as a data. And what I'm doing, I'm using Llama index simple directory reader to read all the documents present inside the folder called as a data. So what it will do, it will actually go inside my folder data, and whatever the documents is present inside the data, it will read that documents and it will load that documents and it will store that documents inside the variable called as a documents. And now I'm creating my embedding models, which will be used to create the vector. This time I'm using open source model called as a Hugging Face embedding. And the model name is BAAI BGE base English V1.5. To know about this model, you can go to Face, you can find the information about this model. I'm not going to describe this model right now. Now I am also setting my LLM. The LLM is using Grok. I'm not using Llama because creating response through Llama takes a lot of time. And that's why I'm not using Llama. I'm using the Grok. The model I'm using is Mixtral, and you have to provide the API key. You can get the API key of Grok on their cloud platform. Write in the Google search Grok API, and it will take you to their cloud platform where yes, you have to do the sign up and then it is free to use. You can get your API key. Now I'm creating an index, and in this index, I'm not using any PG vector database or Postgres vector database, but I'm using vector store index of Llama index. This is the by default vector store provided by Llama index to store your vector of your documents. Did you get this, guy? We are not using any kind of third-party vector database. We are not using FAS. We are not using ChromaDB. We are not using PZ Vector. We are not using any kind of vector database, but we are using the Llama index vector database, which is already present inside the Llama index. And that is the class called as a vector store index. In that index, what you have to do, you have to just use the method called as a from documents and put your documents here. You can see this documents was containing all the information of my data. So I'm just putting that documents inside that vector store index, and automatically my vector will be created. And now what I'm doing, I am using the query engine. And this is the method through which you can actually query any question with regards to your documents. And this is my question. What did the author do growing up? Very simple. Just 4 lines of code and you have built your RAG application inside the Llama index. Let me run this cell. Python main.py. Why it is taking time? Wait, guys, it is taking time to get the response. I don't know why. Although I'm using the Grok API, it should have given the answer. Let it be. Yeah, it has given the answer now. The other growing up primarily engaged in two main different activities outside of school, writing and programming. In writing, they focus on creating short stories, which although initially of poor quality with title plot. So you can see I am able to fetch the answer through my data. This was my data graham.txt. So this application I have just copy pasted from the Llama index documentation. When you will go to the Llama index and when you will go to the agentic RAG section, then this 4 or 5 lines of code has been provided by the Llama index itself to build your RAG application using the graph models. Any problem? Okay, now I will build a chainlet application using Llama index. But this time I will build a chainlet application, and in this time we are going to build an agent. And to this agent, we will be giving our own tool. You see, when we were building our agent inside tasking.ai, I will show you in tasking.ai here. When I was building this agent, then we were giving the tool as an archive search. This was not built by me. It was already present there. And we use that tool by default. But what I am going to do right now, similar to this tool, I will create my own function. And that function will be acting as a tool. So you can create any kind of function that is able to do some kind of task. You can create any kind of function, and that function you can give to your agent as a tool. So let me show you how it happens. So what you have to do, you have to import some library. It's very easy, nothing to explain here. Similarly, I'm creating the React agent here. I'm importing. This is the main class which is used to build the assistant in Llama index. And we are actually importing the function tool. This function tool is actually used to create your own tool, custom function, which will be defined by you. And that function will be given to your agent as a tool. What you have to do, you have to define your LLM. This time again, I'm using the Grok. You can use the Llama as well, but make sure that you have Llama running in your system. Llama is running here, and you have downloaded this model 5.3. I can show you, I have downloaded the 5.3. But that will be very slow. Using Llama model is very slow. Llama. Okay, so I have not to open this. So you can see here, I have downloaded two models. One is 5.3 and another one is Llama 3. So I've tested these two model, but I was not getting the response. It was very slow. That's why I have used Grok. So in Grok, I am using the Mixtral model. Now you have to do the setting. And you can see I'm creating a simple function. This function is a multiply function, which takes two variable, A and B, and return the multiplication of the two variable. I'm defining another function. You can create any kind of function. It can be very complex function. And for just simplicity, I'm using this function just to show you that you can actually define any function of yourself, and you can give this function as a tool to your agent, and your agent will be very smart enough to answer your query according to your function. It will run the function and it will fetch the answer. I'm just using very simple function to keep the thing very simple. I'm using another function add. I'm using another function subtract. I'm using another function divide. And now you can see I'm creating this function uh, uh, as a tool using the class of Llama index called as a function tool. So when I define the function, so this function can be converted, should be converted into tool. How you will convert this into is as a tool? You will convert this as a tool by using the class of Llama index called as a function tool. So multiply tool has been created, add tool has been created, subtract tool has been created, and divide tool has been created. Now I am creating my agent. The agent is a React agent, and React agent will take the tools. You can see I am giving the all 4 tools: multiply tool, add tool, subtract tool, and divide tool. I am giving the LLM, and verbose is equal to true. And now you have to create your chainlit application, just this line of code. So when your application will start, then this decorator signifies that whenever you will start your application, this message will appear. So whenever your chainlit application will start, you will get this kind of message. Hello there, I am your agentic RAG. But when you will message your application in chainlit, then this function is going to be initiated. In this function, we are actually getting our agent, and then we are actually getting the response from my agent. Agent is nothing but this is the agent. Let me run this cell. So to run this application, what you have to do, you have to write chainlit run app chainlit.py. Okay, you can see on a start, you are getting this message. Hello there, I am your agent. How can I help you? What is 9? Let me 9 into, okay, 9 into 8 plus 5. So this is the math question. Let me answer. What is 9 into 8 plus 5? The result of 9 into 8 plus 5 is 77. Okay. And let me check the console. And you can see here what it has done. The current language of the user is English. I need to use tools to help me answer this question. So first, it is actually using the tool multiply, and it is taking the variable as a 9 into 8, and the observation is 72. Now I need to add 5 to the result. So it is using the tool called as a add, and it is using 2 variable A72 and 5. And now it is telling I can answer without using any more tool. I will use the user language to answer, and the result of it now is 77. So in my application, only result is getting outputted, but in the terminal, you can see that how beautifully it is reasoning all the things and then getting the final answer. Any question, guys? Any question? Do let me know in the chat box. I'm just ready to end the class. I will just share the feedback form. Till then, you can write your question in the chat box. what problem this agent is solving. Okay, let me share my screen. So this actually you see whenever you ask your LLM any mathematical question. So many LLM fail to answer the mathematical question. It has been established that some of the LLMs are not very good at answering the mathematical questions. That's why there is one separate benchmark that is called as a mathematics, in which all the LLMs are tested before the release of that LLM. So what I have done actually, I have given the tool to my agent, and that tool is actually my custom function. So this function can be any function. You can create your own function. This function you can create a function where you can actually fetching the API, weather API. So whenever you will ask the question about a weather, then this function will get initiated and your agent will use this function and it will fetch the API, weather API, and it will answer your question. This is the another use cases where you can define your own custom function. You can create another function where actually you can create a function where you are executing a code. So whatever the question you will ask related to that code, your agent is going to use that function as a tool and it will answer the question using that tool. So this was the simple tool or function that I have used for the explanation purpose. But the purpose is that you can create any kind of custom function which will be defined by you, and you can give that function as a tool to your agent so that your agent can use this tool or your custom function to answer your query. That function can be like 1 page of code, can be 2 page of code. It doesn't matter. It should return some value. And that value will be returned by your agent while accessing your tool during answering your query related to that function. Am I able to answer your question, Saint Monk? Any more question, guys? Please do fill the feedback form as well. If you have any question, write in the chat box. I'm here for like 2 or 3 more minutes. Maybe tomorrow we have a next class, I think. So tomorrow we can explore Transformer agent. Transformer has actually released a class called as agent. This is a very new development. Sorry, Hugging Face. This is a very new development. Most of the organization now are going to use that agent. And also we are going to see the Crew AI tomorrow. Please upload the architecture docs for all the agents. Also more visual descriptive workflow documents would be better for these types of agents. I can only upload the code, guys, because these are the things that I have prepared. For creating the architecture, you can actually, I have described all those things. So architecture is self-defined. You have attended more than 1.5 hour of class. I'm really very sorry that I have not created any architectural design for all these agents, but it takes time. So to avoid that things, if you have like attended this 1.5 hour class, so you must have understood that what kind of architecture we are talking about. Where can we view or access the code? It will be uploaded on the website. Once you are able to access the recorded lecture, so there only you will get a drive link where all the code will be present. For previous classes as well, I have uploaded all the code file there. You can find the drive link there. You can access all those files, all the code that has been discussed in the class, and same for this class as well. It will get uploaded there. Any more question, guys? No, not such plan. So if Nitish sir, we will have a discussion with Nitish sir. We were planning that thing, but suddenly AI agents came into our picture. So we dealt with AI agents. Let's see what we can do next. But of course, in the previous 2 classes, I was only focusing on building the application. I was not explaining the code in depth. So I was getting some response that the explanation of the code is not up to the mark. That's why I tried my level best. Because see, when you are actually attending the lecture like AI agents and also, it's understandable that you know the basics and you know how to import the things and what are the things that we are importing, how we are making the object, how we are defining the class. These things is actually acceptable. Although I got some feedback that explanation should be more in depth. So I tried my level best in this. Okay, guys, let's see. Let's meet in another session. Thank you. Thank you for attending the class. Have a good night. Bye.